What's up, guys? Welcome to the Momentum Trading Lab. Please remember to hit that like and subscribe, and let's get into it. All right, so let's start our analysis on the Nasdaq daily chart. All right, so to have a quick look at the Momentum Master B, the oscillators are starting to reset. The Williams is not curling to the upside yet, but we could see this on the next candle, the little curl to the upside. Money flow and RSI pointing to the upside. It would have been more bullish if we had the money flow below the RSI. So I have the money flow as the yellow line and the RSI as the white line. But nonetheless, they are curving to the upside. And let's see if there's any divergences. Not really. But as you can see, everything is starting to reset. And then if we have a closer look at the daily chart, we had this low. This low at 14,792. So that is the sell side liquidity on the daily chart. And I believe if we go to the weekly, this was also a weekly low. So this is definitely a major liquidity pool right here. So now that we took some of the sell side liquidity, it seems likely that we could continue to the upside a little bit. So we also took the previous day low, which was Friday's low. Okay, that was our previous day low. Previous day high is at 15,027. Previous day high. Okay, and then we also have a couple of imbalances right here on the daily chart. So we have this fair value gap. And then we have another one right there. Okay, and then right in between these two fair value gaps, we have a volume imbalance. So it's the area between those two levels right there. Okay, so this is the volume imbalance low. And right here we have the volume imbalance high. Okay, so volume imbalance low is at 15,133. And the volume imbalance high is at 15,152. Right, so a couple of imbalances. There's also one right there. Okay, so the daily chart is slightly bullish after taking sell side, and we have multiple imbalances to the upside. Let's have a quick look at the weekly again. There's no imbalances to the upside on the weekly, but we took weekly sell side, and then the weekly buy side liquidity will be at this high, which is at 15,855. Go back to the daily chart, and the weekly is also starting to reset with the money flow very far away from the RSI, which is a bullish signal, and the stochastics are starting to reset. Okay, so took out two liquidity pools, previous day low, then this low that we have on the daily and the weekly. So it seems that we could at least expand towards the previous day high into this fair value gap on the daily, and perhaps towards the volume imbalance. Have a look at the 4 hour. Because on the 4 hour, you can see we created, or we are creating this confirmed low. So here we had the sell side, then we dipped into it. And if we look at this candle, we have a higher low right there, and we have a higher low right there. This candle is closing in an hour and 20 minutes. Then this low will be confirmed. Then it seems likely that we will expand to the previous day high, which was Friday's high, into this daily fair value gap. Also a little bit of an imbalance right there. Okay, on the 1 hour, not really much to look at. There's a bit of a volume imbalance right there that it looks like it is, sorry, not a volume imbalance, a fair value gap. Looks like it is struggling right there. Let's have a look at the 15 minute. Quickly go to the 5 minute. Okay, so as you can see, we had these relative equal highs. We haven't touched that high yet. And then that is almost displacement. So if we take out this low, quickly go back to the 15 minute. And I quickly switch off the extensions, make the equilibrium slightly more visible. Okay, so on the 15 minute, we have a fair value gap right there, just above the fair value gap. Go back to the 5 minute. Okay, and then we have a pretty big untouched fair value gap right there with a order block right there. Let's pull that in. Go. 5 minute fair value gap. This is your order block. Okay, so this order block is at 14,854. And let's also pull a fib just for this impulse to the upside. So that's the 15 minute Fibonacci. Okay, so the OTE level, the 706, is right there at the bullish order block. We'll be watching this level in the afternoon session, which starts in 15 minutes for a potential bounce. So personally, what I like to do is so I mark off these levels on the 5 minute chart, and then if price action goes down to my level, then I go to the 1 minute, and then I look for these divergences on the Optima, gives a pretty good divergence, or a divergence on the RSI or the money flow, and then I will open a long trade. So if we continue down, okay, so this is kind of the new steps that I've been taking. It's been giving me more accurate signals. So I mark off the key levels on the 15 minute chart, for instance, the order blocks and the fair value gap. And then obviously the liquidity is marked off on the higher term time frames. So now I will just wait for price action to get to this level. And then if it prints a divergence right here, so we have a low and a lower low, and then if we put in a low and a higher low, that's a bullish divergence. So that's an indication that the trend could potentially reverse, right? So then I know, okay, I should get ready for a potential long. Then I just simply wait for the for it to take out the high of the divergence, and then I will just enter on a 1 minute PD array, so a bullish order block, a fair value gap, or a OTE entry on the Fibonacci, whatever presents itself. but the key is I want to see the divergence, and then price action take out the high of the divergence, and then I just enter on that retrace, and then you can ride it to opposing liquidity pool, or until you see a bearish divergence on the Optima or on the Momentum Master B. Okay, so that's kind of what I'm looking at for the afternoon session. The move back. So we took the local buy side liquidity, created a bearish fair value gap. So you could take a scalp potentially from this fair value gap towards the bullish order block on the 15 minute. Have a look at the 2 minute. So there was an entry for a potential short right there off that bearish fair value gap. So we had a high right here, or relative equal highs, moved above it, created this little high, went up, then started to move to the downside, created two fair value gaps that came into this one, then started to move away. So this could be also an indication that we could see lower prices into this area that we marked off. But this one on the 2 minute. And this one on the 2 minute as well. Okay, now you can see there's one on that 5 minute as well. So potential, if you can potentially get a move back there, and with a divergence, bearish divergence on the 1 minute, then you can take a trade and run it towards that level that we identified. Looks like it's about to take out this low. Will it run through that low? Let's see. This might just be them taking anyone that is trailing their stop too tight, take out this sell side liquidity, then move towards the fair value gap, and then get the rejection to the downside. This almost looks like it's also forming a head and shoulders pattern, with the left shoulder at the head and the right shoulder could form right there in this bearish fair value gap. We'll look at the 5 minute. Okay, so we could take that little scalp. The main play that I'm looking at is still this one, because we are coming from sell side liquidity on the higher term time frames. So we took out the low from Thursday as well as Friday's low, and we took out this major low, which was a low identified on the weekly as well. So we have to think that they want to now pair their long positions with the buy stop. So I'm looking for, if we enter right there, to pair my TPs with that high and that high right there. And this high is key because this is the previous day high, so we know there will be lots of buy side liquidity above this high. So I think the major play for the afternoon is still to move into the 5 minute fair value gap, potential bounce off the bullish order block. So just to recap my plan for once we get into this level. So it's basically bullish divergence, price action takes out the high from the bullish divergence, and then enter on whichever PD array you would like to use, a bullish order block, bullish fair value gap, or a Fibonacci OTE entry. And then we can pair our TPs with this high. So it's this one on the 15 minute. That will also be a good one right there. Maybe one day, and your last contract right there. Okay, so it looks like that little tap below the low is just to knock out that sell side for the people that trailed their stops too tightly. And it looks like we are going to be seeing that move potentially back into this fair value gap before seeing the move to the downside. Quickly go back to the 5 minute. As if you enter right there, the stop will be at the high of this candle. So this is your 3 candle pattern for the bearish fair value gap. You can put your stop right there. And that is just about a 2-to-1 risk to reward ratio. So risk 25 to make 51 points potentially. I still think the better play is going to be off this bullish order block level and then run it towards these highs. So even if you go with the long, the risk to reward is already better, and then we have bigger targets for the long as well. So the first one will be right here. Go back to the 15. To that one, it is a 3.5 risk to reward ratio. Okay, looks like we are in that fair value gap. Yes, I'm just gonna put an alert on this. So this will alert us once price action gets to this level. Then we can go back, see if we get the bullish divergence on the 1 minute. See what the 1 minute looks like right now. Okay, they're starting to form a bit of a bullish divergence. So the a low and a higher low, and a low and a lower low. Also just want to add an alert on this. So if we displace above this high, then we have a bullish market structure shift. Let's have a quick look at the dollar index. Okay, so this was the level that we looked at last week. And we said this was the likely draw on liquidity for the dollar. We eventually got there. We also had the relative equal highs right there. That's why we thought this was a strong draw on liquidity. Then we also have this imbalance that I didn't notice previously. Okay, so as you can see, we just wicked through it, not closing above this yet. So if we get a push above the white box, above this fair value gap, and I think it's likely going to move to the buy side liquidity at 107.993, and then we also have this imbalance between 108.440 and 109.452. But we'll see now that it's taken buy side liquidity. Maybe they want to pair that up with some sell side liquidity before they continue to the upside. So on the 4 hour, we have relative equal lows at 105.313, and then we have a low at 104.670, and then we still have these relative equal lows still untouched. So let's see, we'll see. I think this next 4 hour candle will tell us a lot about what the dollar index is likely to do, but it just to me seems logical. Now that they've taken some buy side, they would want to take profit on some of the buy side, and they can do that by pushing price towards these lows and then knocking out any long positions and pairing up their short take profits with the people that went long and had their stops right here. Also have a look at the momentum master B. Looks like it's still got a bit of momentum to the upside. Not any bearish divergences right there. No divergence on the Williams. A closer look at the RSI. Have a look at the 1 hour. The Williams starting to call to the downside. That's a high and a lower high and a high and a higher high. Let's see if it broke bullish market structure on the 5 minute. So that would have been your last higher low. They broke it, started to move to the downside. This looks like a weak little push. There's a high right there. Okay, this will tell us a lot how it handles this high. So is it going to displace above it or below it? So if it displaces to the downside, then they just knocked out anyone that trailed their stops too tight. Came into this fair value gap, got a little move to the upside. Okay, the equilibrium is right here at 106. See if there's any divergences forming right here. We had one right there, so that tells me that this could be a little sweep of liquidity above this high before continuing down. Okay, we'll have to see in a couple of minutes what happened after taking this high. Quickly want to go back to the NAS. That's a bullish divergence. Let's see how it displaces above that high. Then it might give us a little bit of an entry. That will be a bullish market structure shift. And you could potentially, these down close candles could become a bullish order block if price action displaces above them. You can enter on the order block or on the fair value gap. As you can see, it's getting rejected. That's why I like to wait for the market structure shift and then enter on the retrace. Okay, let's have a quick look at Bitcoin. Okay, I haven't looked at Bitcoin the entire day, so let's see. Okay, so on the daily, it took the previous day low. There's a little bit of an imbalance between these three candles. See if it came into the equilibrium. Just wicked into it after taking the sell side below these lows. And it's not paired up any of the positions that went long from the sell side liquidity, so it hasn't paired up those positions with any significant buy side yet. That would be above this high right here at 28,142. Okay, there's not really any imbalances on the 4-hour. Took out these relative equal lows. It would have been nice if it took out this low right at the Fibonacci golden pocket. Bit of an imbalance right there on the 4-hour. Okay, just tapped into the equilibrium. Just didn't make it to the Fibonacci 618. Have a look at the 1-hour. Okay, so this little move was just a grab of the relative equal highs. So the buy side above these highs. Also took out that high. Then started to displace to the downside. Okay, now it's also printing relative equal lows right here, and then we have the 4-hour imbalance right here. So that will be your sell side. We'll look at the 15-minute. Okay, so it also came into this bearish fair value gap. I want to quickly go back to the 1 hour. The 1 hour is getting extended on the stochastics. The money flow is above the RSI, which is a bearish indication, and they're all kind of starting to roll over. I wouldn't be surprised if Bitcoin moves all the way back to this level. So the high end of this fair value gap is at 25,615. And let's also just identify the midpoint of this fair value gap. Okay, so the midpoint is at 25,413, and the lower end is at 25,217. And this midpoint will also take you to the Fibonacci 786. It looks like we are not going to close above the equilibrium on the 4-hour. So then it could come towards the sell side, towards this low, which we will also have sell side resting below that level. Okay, so this low is at 25,764. Okay, so to me it looks like downside on Bitcoin. Let's go back to the NAS. Okay, definitely looks like it wants to roll over right here in this imbalance. I'm still looking at this level. If we see if there's any, also gave you the warning right there, this little finger, not to go long yet. I'm still looking for that little move down towards the order block. So look at the 1 minute. So that's also a bit of a bearish divergence printing right there. So you have a low and a higher low, and right here, you have a high and a higher high, and a high and a lower high. Let's see if that is visible on the regular RSI. Now, so you have a lower high and a higher high, not visible on the money flow, but we have it right here on the Optima and on the regular RSI. And then the 1 minute is also starting to roll over. Okay, so I'm looking for another stab down into this area for a potential long. Yo, we have APV, CNC Ireland, and Prehab. Yeah, so Prehab says the Optima is a cheat code. The Optima is awesome for these lower term time frames. Danny, that's awesome magic on this thing. So if you are interested in this, the link in the description for the Momentum Master is in the description. We also have a 20% discount if you use my link and coupon code. And then you also get access to the Momentum Master Discord community, which is pretty nice. Pretty busy for a small private group. So definitely join us in that group. We've got some smart people in there, a lot of funded traders as well. So definitely join us, and also join the Momentum Trading Lab Discord. Link is in the description. All right, so we are in the afternoon session, started about 5 minutes ago. Silver bullet session is in 55 minutes and the kill zone starts in 25 minutes. Let's one thing I forgot to look at, so that was just my little trade journal, is the Forex factory. So today we had nothing major going on, but let's just see and plan for the rest of the week. Okay, so as you can see, nothing today, low impact stuff. That's at 6 p.m. New York in any case. All right, then tomorrow at 10 a.m. we have the consumer confidence red folder event. So volatility right there in the silver bullet session. So we'll have a lot of liquidity during that trading session. Then on Wednesday, we have medium impact at 8:30. Okay, and then on Thursday at 8:30 we have final GDP and the unemployment claims. So that's definitely going to bring in a lot of volatility into the market. And we also have a medium impact news events. At 10 a.m. another medium impact news events, the pending home sales. And then at 4 p.m. we have the Fed Chair Powell speaks. And then on Friday we have core PCE price index at 8:30, and then at 10 a.m. more red folder news, and then just before lunchtime we have more. Right, we have an alert going off. Let's see. Okay, so we are displacing to the upside, so this is a bullish market structure shift. Damn, so see there we at the, so this is what I wanted to see at this level, is bullish divergence, right? And then it came into a bullish PD array and then started to move to the upside. So it took out that high. So that was your high on the 2 minute. You're moving above it, starting to displace. Okay, so then the plan kind of has to change. So if the 2 minute confirms this fair value gap, we might have a long entry on our hands with the target being that high. If we enter around there at the midpoint, that's about 42 points to that liquidity pool. Next one is about 53. And the ultimate one that I was looking for, if I entered off this one, was that high. Okay, so we are displacing. Gonna wait for this fair value gap to confirm. Fighting this little one right there. So I like this Lux Algo fair value gap indicator. So I like to draw it myself, but sometimes I miss these little ones, and then the indicator will just kind of point it out for you. So pretty nice little indicator. And then Daniel's also working on a new thing called the Momentum Master Light that gave you the helix right there at the 2 minute. And see, it gave you the helix right at the very bottom, right at this adaptive moving average, starting to break above the trend cloud. So it looks like the retrace into the, there's a fair value gap right there at where the trend cloud is. So that will definitely be, I think, a good entry for a long is in this area, because we have the 1 minute bullish fair value gap, or busy fair value gap is the technical name. So buy side imbalance, sell side inefficiency. We'll get a little Fibonacci from this low. Okay, so the fair value gap is touching the equilibrium, so I like to see that. That will be bullish order block candle on the 2-minute.
Order submitted.
I'm just gonna put a limit inside of that fair value gap on the 2-minute chart. Alrighty guys, I think that is it for the analysis today. I think the draw on liquidity is to the upside towards those levels that we discussed. Dollar is starting to dump, so see that was just a little grab of anyone that trailed their stops too tight. So grab the buy side starting to displace. So this should be bullish for the Nasdaq. So I'm gonna enter long inside of this bullish order block, or not order block, fair value gap, and then run it towards those liquidity pools. So my first target is gonna be this high. We'll see how we react right there. So we also have this imbalance right there. The highest inside of that imbalance, so that might be a good idea to peel one right there. And then my last target will be that high right there. You can see the fair value gap is visible on the 5-minute as well. Can be patient, see if it can get back to my level. Okay, and that is it. Thank you for everyone that tuned in today, and then I'll be back tomorrow at around the same time, and I'll see you guys in the Discord. I hope everyone has a great day, and thank you.